Com. Team Quantum with you today, the most comprehensive, non-invasive blood glucose and metabolic health monitor in the market today. And these folks are absolutely phenomenal, and they've got it for you here. Let's talk a little bit about this. Gluco Quantum is an award-winning, innovative, portable, personal, affordable, non-invasive, wireless, self-measuring blood glucose monitor for home use. Their revolutionary technology is winning awards across the board, and they want you to go over and help them fund this project at INDIEGOGO.com. Search Gluco Quantum, your partner in diabetes management, and tell them you heard about it here. Transmedia worldwide. Go over and help them out today. Give them some of your hard-earned money today. We have got a great guest joining us today. The multi-talented Susan Moss is with us, a return visit with her on our big broadcast. And she's known for her best-selling health books, such as Keep Your Breasts and Survive Cancer. Susan is now creating a stir in the literary world with a novel. It's called The Accident Stager, which is destined for the silver screen, according to the early rave reviews to date. And she's with us today here on our broadcast. And I want to talk about the coronavirus and everything. Give us your details on this, my friend. You're always on the cutting edge with some of your thoughts and opinions.
Oh, thank you very much. Before I start, I wrote the books Keep Your Breasts and Survive Cancer. I've traveled the world with them. I was in Scotland on the BBC. Germany and Holland have both printed up Keep Your Breasts, and I spoke there. And also, I was on the Crook and Chase show in Nashville, Tennessee, and the Cancer Control Society in Los Angeles. I did about 8 times speaking there. And what I do mainly is I'm an artist, and since I'm doing this interview for free, you can see my art on artpal.com. I just put my work up there, and also Saatchi Art, SAATCHI art.com. And it would really help me if you could see your way to purchase even a print, which they make very inexpensively. And I'm trying to, both my galleries are now closed, and the bookstores are closed, so I'm struggling to survive just like everyone else. So that would help if you went on those ArtPal or SaatchiArt.com or purchase my books online.
So with this coronavirus, what do you make of all this?
Okay, so first of all, I want to shock you a bit and tell you that I've never had a cell phone.
Really?
Yeah, and the reason I've never bought a cell phone, much to my friend's consternation, is I was at the World Conference on Breast Cancer twice in Canada, and we had a physicist, this is many years ago, we had a physicist speaking about the danger of cell phone radiation to your head. It's microwave energy, as you probably know.
Yes.
And so when you put it to your head heats up, and this creates a problem that your body wants to defend itself, and so often you get what's called an acoustic neuroma, which is a little tumor in your ear where you hold the phone.
Really? I was not aware of that.
Yeah, so when coronavirus started hitting, I wanted to know why. I'm a researcher myself. I like to, when I wrote Keep Your Breasts, I did a year of research in the UCLA Biomedical Library to back up everything I said. And I like to find out causes. And no one's looking at causes for the coronavirus. It just happened, right? You just drop dead from it. But no one's looking at why all of a sudden everyone's getting sick and dying, right?
Yes.
All right, so I saw on TV a picture of a photo of Times Square, empty Times Square, with a big 5G lettering on that. And it got me thinking, James, maybe there's a connection here between 5G and coronavirus. Have you ever thought of that?
No, but now that you bring this up, this is very interesting. Give us some more details here on this.
Okay, so first of all, I want to say that this is only speculation on my part, and I want your listeners to do research for themselves on this, because when I first came out with this idea, a lot of people laughed at me. So I want people to know that this is not proven yet. It's speculation, and they should do their own research on it. But don't laugh at me, because it's not funny. Anyway, okay, so let's look at China. They built 100,000 5G towers, and they turned them on in November of 2019. In December 2019, 1 month later, people started falling down on the sidewalk.
Wow.
Flat on the sidewalk. And then we heard about the coronavirus, which we blamed on their wet market. Now, wait a minute. They've always had a wet market, and we haven't had coronavirus before, so what is different? Okay, so in Italy, let's look at Italy, and I'm not a racist, as I've been accused, but let's look at Italy. They installed 5G in 5 cities. What do we see next? People getting sick with the coronavirus. People dying like flies. But no one made that connection. No one. Okay, so is there a connection? I'm starting to think about the Chinese and the Italian. And now we're thinking about New York to prove I'm not a racist. Okay, so they have a very dense population. They have 5G. They turned it on. People are getting sick. People are dying. Why? Why is this happening all of a sudden? Okay, so is there a connect? What is 5G? So then I went on to try to figure out what 5G exactly is. Do you know what 5G is?
It is something to do with cell phones. That's all I know about it, Susan.
Okay, so when you have a cell phone, you have microwave radiation, and when you have G1 through 4, which we have now before 5G, you have 1 to 5 megabits of radiation. This causes brain tumors as it is and acoustic neuromas. All right, so now what is 5G? 5G is megabits 24 to 90. Does that worry you a little bit?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. We've got Susan Moss with us today. She joins us live here in our broadcast, coast to coast, border to border on iHeartRadio, AM, FM, 247.com, TuneIn, iTunes, and Radio Loyalty. And so give us more details here, Susan. Tell us all about it.
Okay, so when you have high speed, this kind of megabits, the range isn't very far. So in order to continue this 5G, they have to build a lot of towers. Like in the U.S., they're planning on 300,000 towers. And so you're going to be right near a tower. Not only that, but they converted the wave into a beam. So that beam is going to hit you. Does this scare you a little bit?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Give us more details here, Susan. You're the expert. Talk to us.
Well, I'm not an expert, but this is just what I found. And if you go on, there's a guy, Josh Del Sol, S-O-L, and he will give you a list of articles. And also, he talks about surveillance through cell phones and computers and how this is attached also to the 5G. 5G is supposed to be so spectacular that you can download a whole movie in seconds. But what if you die after you watch the movie? That's what I want to know.
It is Susan Moss. She's with us today here in our broadcast. And Susan, I guess before we let you go, how do we find you online, buy your books, buy your art, everything?
Okay, so my website is www.susanhmoss.com. You can see and order my work on artpalnow.com or Saatchi, SAATCHI.com. If you want to know more about 5G, it's takebackyourpower.com, and that's Josh Del Sol, S-O-L. He knows a lot more about it than I do, and he'll give you a list of articles. But I urge your listeners to do the research themselves and find out about 5G before it's too late.
It is Susan Moss. She's with us today here in our broadcast, coast to coast and border to border. Susan, it's always a pleasure to speak with you. I appreciate you making time for us today, and we will talk to you soon. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful afternoon, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. There she goes, Susan Moss. We are going to take